Hey guys, welcome to Minding My Mind podcast, where the tea is hot, the cookies are fresh, and you never know what I'm going to say. This is episode 7, and this is called Call Me Crazy, but I think I found the love of my life. That's right. I know. Anyways, this is a special mini series that we're going to call the Twilight Zone. This is my partner, Keon. I don't call him by his full name, and that probably sounded really weird to him. I call him my love or baby or sweet thing. Ooh, if your mom watches, I don't know. But I thought it was best that we put in some mini episodes with him and I, because there's no way I could just have him as a guest once or even twice, because we do live our daily lives out together. And at this point, there's nobody in the world who knows me better than him. And I feel at this point, it's safe enough to show him to the world a little bit. I don't trust none of y'all, to be honest. People, I saw this thing the other day that said, be careful who you vent to, because people are either listening for like tea or because they care. But it's like, at this point, the people that know, the people that need to know, they do know. But a lot of what my podcast is about exploring the link between humans and psychology. And it's no stranger. Is that how you say that? Yes, no secret, no surprise, no mystery to anyone that I have bipolar disorder and PTSD and severe ADHD. And being in a new relationship, it's not new anymore. I mean, we've been together a while now. There were some things that I was apprehensive about. I'm really looking at you. Maybe I should look at you. There are some things I was apprehensive about that, we still talk about probably on the regular, about dating and kind of working through the different challenges with dating somebody, going through mental challenges, going through divorce, being a parent. I'm in school. I work a lot. There are a lot of things that I feel like we have navigated so well together. And we always say that like we've lived probably 7 lifetimes in this span of two years-ish that we've been together, because there's just so many things that we've dealt with together and through. Most of the time where I tried to push you away and you were like, no, we're good. Like, this is life. I love you. I understand. So I feel like there's a lot that you have taught me from being the strong silent type. We've talked about how sometimes less is more, but in the past I thought that what people said held so much weight, and you were the person that has been a man of so little words and a way more action. And was that a good introduction? Was that an introduction?
I thought the introduction stopped after you said my name.
Oh yeah, maybe. Introduction maybe to us in our relationship.
Yeah.
You are from the South, just like me, and there's so many things that we connect to just because of our geography and our history. We do have an age gap relationship, which I don't know if I ever put that title on it until I was Googling. We're a solid 10 years apart. And that's how I remember your birthday now, because I just think, mine 88, yours 98. But that plays no part in our relationship at all. I don't feel like.
I agree.
Outside of like me being able to give you perspective about maybe what to hold in high regard in this time of your life, because I went through my 20s where I took things for granted. And one of them was like, my parents and stuff like that. Not saying you take your parents for granted, but there are times where we are both able to look at our lives and I'm like, remember, like, your brothers are your brothers and whatever. And you tell me the same thing too. Like I think one of the things that we both cherish the most is our families. And we always say that like we don't care about much, but our immediate nuclear families. And then for me, at this point I've got all my aunts and uncles, and it's really hard to condense my family like that, but that's still my family, and that's probably all I really deal with. I have a big family, but I don't need many more people. So this episode, I just wanted it to be kind of a intro to us and you a little bit. I feel so protective of you just because you're one of those people that I feel like the world doesn't deserve. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like I want to hide you. I don't want anybody to know anything about you besides that's my man. But I think you want to play a game. Do you want to play a game first, or do you want me to ask you the questions first? Let's do the questions first, because only 5 of them.
I was gonna say you throwing a lot at.
Yeah.
I'm here to do whatever. I'm with all of it.
Thank you, love. So I'll ask you these questions first, and maybe just get over this stuff. I mean, it's not even hard. You always surprise me, which is one of the most incredible things about you. I'm just not easily surprised. Like, people are so predictable. And like, I mean, from the beginning, like, you would do things and I'd be like, how does he even like still surprise me? But to this day, like, I'll ask you a question or I'll say something and I'll be like, dang. So like, I'm not nervous about these questions. I know you're not, because first of all, you're the most honest person I've ever met. So if anything, you'll be like, I don't know how to answer that. And then we move on. But these are 5 questions about dating somebody with bipolar disorder and PTSD. I don't even think I have to say anything besides we'll start answering the questions and we'll talk about it if we need to get into anything. But the first question on here is, how do you support me during my manic or depressive episodes?
Manic and depressive?
Put the mic closer to your, yeah.
Not used to being on camera.
Just making sure.
Honestly,
well, let's just say manic, because
you don't really have depressive episodes. It's mainly you being manic.
Yeah.
In times like that, I guess I have to help you slow down. That's like my main priority, telling you like you may be doing too much, or you gotta slow your ass down. Like, it's the only way I know how to say it.
My favorite is when you say, are you about to take a break?
Just like a light suggestion.
Or you say, what you about to do next? And I'm like, does that mean I need to take a break? And you're like, yes, ma'am.
But I tell you, when I feel like, okay, you're pushing yourself a little too far, you might need to relax, because I know how far you can go. But I know you being you'll push past that, and that's not okay. Everybody needs a break. You got to slow down at some point. Yes. Otherwise, your body's going to do it for you.
And have you seen it? Have I crashed before?
Maybe like once since I've been here.
Since you've been here?
Like, and that was like at the very beginning.
I was going to say, was at the beginning of the school year when I stayed up for like 4 days straight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the one time that I can honestly remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the second one is, what strategies do you use to help me cope during times of high anxiety or stress? Do you have any? What strategies do you use?
That's kind of tricky because you have a therapist. So it's not like I have to really give you ways to cope. You know how to cope and you know how to deal with things on your own. So it's really me just giving you the space and the time to figure stuff out on your own.
Hi, Mom.
PG.
That's a great answer. That reminds me of the other day. Don't laugh. Okay, you're going to say that was 2 weeks ago, but it probably was 2 weeks ago. But the other day in my mind, when you were asleep and I was trying to be really, really quiet because I wanted you to rest, and I was trying to print my comp cards for that casting call, and like you woke up and you said that, like, when you woke up, you heard me say, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And you said that day was another one of those times when we're having a conversation where you said, like, I think you said, if I'm wrong, then correct me, but you were like, I woke up, I heard you say that, I looked at you and I said, she's stressed, she's nervous, but nervous being the number one emotion. And to me, the fact that you saw over the stress and that you saw where the stress was coming from, and that was from me being nervous, and then you made the decision to just support me. And that day I asked you, we were talking about something, and because that day, remember, I apologized later that day. I was like, just because I was stressed and nervous and rushing and everything just does not give me a pass to just be, I don't know if I called myself a bitch, but to be however I...
And you didn't need to, it wasn't warranted for that.
Yeah. And I said, I just want to always have accountability, even if I am having a a bipolar episode or whatever, and you said, okay, like, I totally accept your apology and I appreciate it, but also part of being with somebody when you know that they have bipolar, you know that they have anxiety, is allowing them to be that way and not taking it personal. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm. And the same, we just had this conversation, was that yesterday, about everything that comes with being bipolar. Like, you said something that made me like really sit back and like, okay, I need to continue checking myself in talking about being the consistent one. You said like, what'd you say exactly? You said like, if
I can't be expected to be the consistent one.
And that's honestly the truth. So like, I had to take that and really understand what you were saying, and it's the truth. So like,
yeah,
that's the sacrifice you have to make if you want to be with somebody that has whatever. And we say it all the time. What is it? 90% of people have something wrong with them. They just don't want to admit it.
90.
That's a random number, yeah, but
you mean
I say
100.
90. Right? Let's be real. I say 90, but like, everybody has something wrong with them in some way.
I think 20% of people with mental illness acknowledge it, if that's what you're talking about. But we're probably say like 90% of people have mental health problems, but everybody's on the spectrum. So we all deal with something.
Somehow, yeah.
And what's more dangerous is dealing with a partner that has a mental illness that won't acknowledge it.
Exactly.
Because then they don't have any accountability, then they're just volatile.
And you have an accountability in what you're dealing with. It allows, like, it makes things 1,000 times easier. Like, you taking the initiative to apologize in that situation before I even had some to tell you, like, I understood what you were going through with the comp cards. Like, I didn't have to tell you to apologize. You did it yourself, and that helps way more than you know.
Thank you. So the next question is, how do you handle it when my symptoms interfere with our plans or daily life? If we didn't already answer that.
I don't know. You know me, so, like,
how do you handle it when my symptoms interfere with our plans or daily life?
Nothing really, like, can really knock me off my pivot unless it, like, does all the way, and nothing really does. So, like, I feel like what I'm trying to say is anything is figure outable. Like, we can manage whatever. Honestly, that's really how I feel. It doesn't matter what happens. It's some way, somehow we can figure out. And if all else fails, we can just stay at home. I don't care. That's fine with me. I don't care at all.
There have been, I feel like, I mean, we know that there's been one time where I looked at you and I said, we need to go. And you were like, you didn't even have any questions. We were on the same page.
I don't even remember
it. The bowling alley.
See? No clue.
And then I know that anytime I have had a moment where I'm either like, I don't want to go, I don't want to do this, you just like, you either say, I got you, love, or you say, let me know what you want to do, or you're just there like, your face just says, I got you. So that in itself, like, knowing that even if it's like my cousin's wedding, it was so huge. And I'm like, my freaking meniscus is torn. The car had another flat tire, like all of these things. And like, instead of feeling like I had a partner that was going to be like, we're at your cousin's wedding, you need to get your ass up and figure it out. You were just like, I understand, love. Like, I understand you're tired and you're hurting and blah, blah, blah. Like, having the space to be able to make a decision for myself without feeling pressured, and like ultimately that's taking care of myself and my mental health, like you always say. Like, even like earlier, like 45 minutes ago, you were like, I'm not about to mess with your brain like that, like when we were talking about stuff, but your number one priority is always prioritizing my brain. Same with me and with you, but you're just a whole lot more simple than me. Mac and cheese and
things.
PlayStation.
Maybe a ribeye here and there.
You do love ribeye now, thanks to me. So the number 4 is, what do you find most challenging about being in a relationship with someone who has bipolar and PTSD? We're going to add ADHD in there because we know.
I don't think I got ADHD.
You do, but like, it doesn't.
What's the hardest thing? I don't know. I don't think there is.
Most challenging?
Most challenging? Everything. Everything dealing with it. But it's like, I think that's a part of any relationship. Like, it's going to be challenging regardless, because like we just said, the vast majority of people are dealing with something or on some sort of spectrum or something. They just don't want to admit to it. The thing about our relationship is, you know what you're dealing with. I know what you're dealing with, and we take the time to know about what it is exactly. Like, we don't just say, "Oh, okay, she has bipolar, so that means she acts out sometimes." No, we understand like the actual intricacies like of the actual disorder. We know what it takes to,
Trigger
calm you
me.
down. Right. We know all the triggers. We know like it happens, and like I said earlier, you have to be willing to say, okay, this is who I'm dealing with. This is who I choose to be in a relationship with. So I'm going to work on it every single day. But if you're not doing that with somebody who doesn't have bipolar or PTSD or ADHD, then why are you in a relationship? It's the same thing.
You always got to be working on something.
Exactly. It doesn't change.
I was going to ask you, so what do you feel like I struggle with the most with all of the issues that I deal with? Like, what do you feel like is my number one, my most challenging issue, symptom thing?
Your attention span, maybe.
Yeah. Have you seen me walk in a full circle?
Mm-hmm. Numerous times. But I mean, again, that's a part of what comes with it, and I try my best to help your brain figure out whatever you're trying to figure out, because that's what I'm here for.
I love you.
I love you too.
So number 5 is, how do you prioritize self-care while supporting me through my mental challenges? And you've already said, you don't support me. I have a therapist. You are my partner, so you way more support me in our partnership than being my mental constituent.
Right.
If that word makes sense, I am impressed. We're gonna have to look it up after.
Constituent is.
I don't know. It felt like it made sense. It could.
Said it. That's how he said it in one of his stand-ups. That's how I know it.
Well, it probably makes sense. I don't know. But so just saying that, when you are in any relationship, remember when we first started seriously dating and we decided, all right, we're going to for sure do this. And we talked about how last time in your last relationship, you felt like you gave so much of yourself that you didn't have much left of you anymore. And I was like, okay, same. So let's not do that again. And so we do check with each other. We check in to make sure, are you good? Are you good? I'm going through this. Are you good? You're going through that? Or how are we feeling? And making sure we're always prioritizing ourselves, but also our relationship. So I said that to just reiterate, how do you prioritize your self-care?
I kind of prioritize it in general. I did that before I met you because of past situations. So, it's kind of just embedded in me now. Everybody doesn't know how I function. You know how I function. But, the way our lifestyle is set up, it's in between helping you, I try to prioritize making myself happy. Whatever simple way I can do that, because 9 times out of 10, it is very simple how I do prioritize my self-care. I don't need much to make myself happy. I don't need much to, so I don't know.
Just always making sure you get time and space to take care of yourself.
As much as I can. And literally the way our life is set up, especially now, it's way easier. And we also have that line of communication where we can say, if I needed some time or some space to do something, it wouldn't be an issue, and I know that for a fact. But again, I'm so simple. I don't need much.
True. Well, those were the hard questions, and they weren't even really hard. I every single day, probably, I'm gonna get to the point where I don't do this every day. Maybe I need to. I'm not sure, but something that I went through hardcore in therapy, through my divorce, and we still touch on it time and again, about knowing what I want and also what I don't want. And there's so many times in our relationship where you fulfill a need that I didn't even know that I wanted. Fulfill a want that I know that I wanted, a need that I didn't know I needed, something. But it's like every single thing I talk through in therapy or in my mind about a partner that I never told you. You know, it's getting more common in this dating scene to come up front with a list of like, this is what I want, boom, 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 this is what I don't want. If you can't do this, if you can do that, then we can have another date, but if not, let's just end it here. Right. Because people are wasting so many people's time. But we never even had to do that.
Also high ass expectations for no reason. Like, but we're not gonna get into that.
We never had to do that because it was like we made our relationship so simple as it always should be. There didn't have to be like this list of things and this list of not things because, first of all, we both have a whole lot of common sense. And a lot of things that people have to discuss, we don't, because we don't have to say certain things that like we just know are nonsense. We both were raised in very no-nonsense households. And so there's just a lot of things where if that were on your list, you'd be like, yeah, okay, duh, you know. But we never came to each other with like I want this, I want that, I don't want this. It was like, I want honesty, I want loyalty, and I want reciprocation at the end of the day. And I forgot what I was saying and how I got there, but
this happens a lot.
I was just saying like I never have to say those things. When I was talking through those things in therapy, it was more so like for me on the inside, so I never settled again. So I never compromised again. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. If I start to see this in somebody, it's a no, whatever. And so it's hard to say like what's a red flag, right? Because red flags to me are like we need to investigate that, or like maybe that's not okay. With you, like I wouldn't say you had any red flags, because a red flag is when somebody's not being honest, I think. Like you find a red flag when it's like they said they had two brothers, but then I just met, you know, like you were always so honest and are still always so honest that there are no red flags because I know what I need to know. So I don't have red flags with you. Do you have any with me or had any with me? Like, what is your definition of red flag the same thing or no?
I was gonna say, I think mine is different.
What's your definition?
When I think of red flags, I think of like no-nos, like things I can't tolerate. Like a green flag is like things that you see in a person that you love. That's like, okay, this is great. A red flag is something that you see and you're like, hell no, I can't deal with that. I'm not dealing with that. Well, that's how I am. I'm not dealing with it.
So I would say a red flag. I would say if you had a red flag for me, it's like when I'm at my most irritable and I just turn very cold.
Yes, and yes. Yes. But then I know it's not like you. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna deal with this goblin right now. But I know
you do not like that. You're very good with I mean, I'm always like, who sent this guy? Like a spy? Because you pick up on like my body language, my moods. Like even like yesterday, you were like, the way you closed the door. I'm like, yes, it's true, but like people don't notice stuff like that. I always have and did. I also am a product of abuse, and you've had none. But like people who are hypersensitive like that have usually been abused in some type of way where they're reading people's body language and emotions and tone.
You say abuse, but I think it's trauma. We all have trauma in some way. And it's how you deal with the trauma that, you know, kind of dictates who you are as a person. I definitely didn't have abuse. I can say that, but everybody has trauma in some sort of way.
Facts. We talk about that a lot.
We talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, so that is very true. That you are very good with picking up on all of that stuff. And I have always been so hypersensitive that I try not to. Like I'm like, don't read his body language, it's fine. It took a solid year, maybe a year and a half. And then even like when you got here, that whole year of us figuring each other out and learning each other, I was like, he's not mad. He's just always looking like this. Like, is he mad at me? Is he upset? No. Like, I think I remember texting Jade, like, I have to remember that people like being indifferent or just like resting does not mean they're pissed, because obviously I'm a hyper baby. I'm always hyperactive and I want like emotion and I want this and I want that. And you're always so calm, so patient. Like, I guess if there are a couple of words I would use, it'd be like calm, patient, hella respectful, way more respectful than I ever could be, because these last 3 years of my life have been the most disrespectful I've ever been. And I don't feel like myself, but also I do. So it's like you have all of these calming qualities, and you also pick up on my body language. So I think automatically if you see that I'm heightened, you want to bring it down, like naturally, just because that's where you are. Or if you see
Depending on the situation, though. Because you ready for smoke?
No, if you
still got some people on the hit list.
So yeah, all that to say, I want to do on each one, probably like a couple of questions like that, because something that my old following appreciated was me talking about mental illness in relationships, and I haven't been talking about that because I haven't been talking about our relationship, because I said I'm trying to hide you from the world, but I guess I gotta show you to people. But you are the most supportive person I've ever known. I'm gonna say a supportive partner, because Ashley would kill me if I said that. My mom would probably kill me if I said that, because they both hold me down in different ways.
And that's fine. They have that right.
Yeah. But there were several times, especially me going through everything I was going through, I'd be like, why? Why do you like me? Why aren't you with some young hot chick with no stretch marks and no kids and no baggage? And you were like, first of all, everybody has baggage. I don't give a crap about stretch marks. And young hot girls are stupid. But you always told me I'm choosing this. Like, I'm with you because I'm choosing you, because I want to be here. Like, there should be no other reason than that. And it is always in my mind when I want to be insecure, when I want to question why I have a partner like you, when I want to make you toxic in my mind. I'm like, he doesn't love me. He probably has a secret life and a wife on this. I don't know what I'd be thinking sometimes. I know. Ain't no telling. Shut up. But I do always have to go back in my mind that you make it so simple. There's so many men I've heard, they will give their wives or girlfriends or whoever like these long spiels of these things. And it sounds good, but it's just talking. And when I ask you, your answers are always so simple. And I've never had to ask you why you love me. I've never asked you that, because you show me that you love me. So it's never been a question, but I have said like, why do you choose this? And you're like, because I choose you and I want to be here, because I choose to. And I'm like, there's no other reason. You're like, there doesn't have to be. I'm like, all right. So that has forced me to do a lot of inner work to figure out, why can't that be enough? If he's saying that and he's here and he's proven that and he's done nothing other than prove that. So you being my partner has made me more secure outside of everything that you're supposed to feel in a relationship. It's like you make me do this work, not just being a partner, but being a woman and a human and even a mom, because
but you got to give yourself credit, because again, not a lot of people choose to do that. You're recognizing that, okay, I still have some work to do, so I'm willing to do it, and you have done it, which is why I continue to stay.
I know why you stay.
Don't start.
I was going to say the mac and cheese.
Oh.
See?
My bad.
Okay, so we're going to play a game. You can get your phone, and we can just use the notes app so we don't cheat. And so we'll do a couple of questions. We'll skip that one. That's boring. This is a good one, okay?
Are we sharing a note?
No, it's just so we don't cheat. So you can't say that you said something. You got to show me. You can't make it up. These are questions about each other that we're supposed to know. Okay. What is my favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
Do I tell you or write it down?
No, just write it down. Okay. And then, am I a morning person or a night owl?
Are these real questions? Okay. Got it.
Okay. You can think outside the box as well. Remember, it's me. Okay. What is my favorite season? I don't know if I know yours, so this could be a trick
I don't
question.
know if I have one.
Okay, let's skip that one.
Please, because that was yeah.
Okay. Do I prefer dogs or cats?
Both
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite music genre?
Okay. I think I can.
Okay, and then we'll do two more. Coffee or tea?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then favorite hobby?
Okay.
Okay, so what is my favorite ice cream?
Cookie Monster from Brahms.
Yes. And yours is red velvet from Brahms?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's red velvet cake.
I put red velvet brownie, I think.
Oh, it is brownie. Yes, it is brownie. Yes.
Okay. Am I a morning person or a night owl? What'd you say?
I said a walker from The Walking Dead.
That is so accurate.
But technically, I guess you could say morning person, but like both. Like,
that's why I said think outside the box.
I don't know.
Because for you, I put depends. And
Right.
the
It
same
just
for
really,
me.
Yeah, it just depends on the day.
Because there's sometimes where you're like, I'm up with you at 4 a.m. And then there's
Literally.
times where I'm like, what time did you go to bed? You're like, I don't know. I snuggled up at like 2 a.m.
And then fall asleep at 7 p.m.
That is true. Both of us.
It
Yeah.
changes.
Okay. Favorite music genre for me?
I put R&B.
That's right. And then for you, I did as well. I know it could be a smooth mix of R&B and
I don't have a favorite genre like R&B, rap,
I'm sorry, R&B and rap.
and like alternative. Like,
I was gonna say Paramore.
Tame Impala. You know.
Mm-hmm. Coffee or tea?
Yes.
That's a good answer.
I didn't know which one to pick.
You said really? That's a good. That means you know me. I put coffee for you, of course, because you don't drink tea unless you're sick and I make you.
Yeah.
And then favorite hobby?
Yoga.
Yes.
Do I have to get specific and say aerial?
No,
Okay.
but that just means you love me.
And you like rollerblading as well? When the weather
Roller
permits it.
skating.
Roller skating.
When the
Right.
weather permits it, and my knee is gonna keep me on IR for a minute, but it's fine. And for you, I put video games.
Of course. I mean, you know that, but
Yes. So I think we've got about 30 minutes. And I don't have any more questions except for I do have a list of questions and I could ask from that. I don't think I have any personal ones. Oh, I do about co-parenting. So.
oh God.
No, I really don't have any questions besides, like, I would say, how do you feel about my kids? Is that a broad enough question or is that a specific enough question?
I don't know. I can try to answer it.
When I met you, we had no idea what the heck we were doing. And then as it evolved into like, okay, well, I guess we're going to do this. And it was like, but I don't want to give you that instant, immediate stepdad position. What even the title? Who cares about a title? But like, go get the kids, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want you to jump from like, you're my partner to like, boom, right? We knew that you had no issue doing that. You helped me all the time. I mean, you told me you would help me all the time, but I'd be like, no, you're good. Just chill. Until eventually I said, all right, I started like letting you ease into things. So I guess in saying that, when we started talking about you being stepdad, you were like, I'm just Keon. Like, I don't need to be this. I don't need to be that. And I told you, like, recently, it's like when I asked my kids or about you, when I question them sometimes, and their body language, when they're like, Keon, he's the greatest. He's blah, blah. What did Breland called you the coolest? Braxton said you're like a really cool older brother. Ellie just thinks oh, he makes you so happy. Who comes and checks on us when we're laughing? And like, was it Brevi or all of them at one point? Like, just come to check on y'all. Y'all all right? Are y'all dying? And we'll be laughing at 85 South Show, whatever. But so yeah, like how do you feel about our family unit? I would say not even so much the kids, but like now knowing me, knowing the kids. I don't know. I guess you can't know them better than me, but you might as well at this point. You just don't know. Not better, but like you know so much about them, like their personalities, things they say, what they like. What like I have to ask you a lot how old the kids are because I forget. So yeah, how do you feel about our family dynamic outside of us? You know, having our relationship.
I think this is kind of one of those ones I don't know to really answer. I don't have like, you see what I do. So like, if I had any feelings or any other feelings, then like, I'm glad to do what I do. And your kids make things 1,000 times easier. They're not like, they could be the silver teeth kids that make life hard for no reason. But like their main thing is they want to play Fortnite. So like I can handle that as opposed to, you know, having to deal with, I don't want you around my mama. Like they know I'm coming here to make life easier for you, which makes life easier for them. And they support it, so.
Not the silver teeth kids, because you know Joella has silver teeth.
She does? My bad. She's not going to hear this, but still.
She's going to be 27 and find this on YouTube one day and be like, oh my God, on episode 7, I cannot believe he called me a silver.
Not you, Joella.
She's going to be in her contacts now. It's going to be a camera. It's going to be one panel. I don't know. It's freaking insanity.
Knowing her, she probably make a YouTube video dissing me back.
Let me tell, like Carlos's daughter. Carlos, is it? Chico. Chico's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was good. What you said. You never not say anything good except for when you tell me no. Do you tell me no? You do. You do.
Yeah.
You do. And my mom asked that. She was like, "Does he put his foot down with you?" I'm like, "Yes."
But that's because nobody ever sees like they always see what I tell you. They see like I'm quiet, calm. That's how it should
but
be.
like if I had somebody as crazy as me, I would not be all right.
Do you think I'm crazy like you or crazier? Right at the same level.
I told you I'm scared of quiet people. Like I told you the other day, like I'm not like scared of you. Like I don't think you're gonna hurt me, but like it's like when we talk about like when people are like they get raised and they get raised and they get raised, it makes you like even calmer because you're like, okay, you're doing the most. It makes me feel ridiculous. Like when I'm being crazy or not crazy, but when I'm just getting elevated or I feel elevated or even like when I'm just like going throughout my day and I'm like, I call you and you're like, why are you yelling? And I'm like,
that was one time.
Hush. But it always gives me perspective on like, I can just be so like, and I don't realize the kind of the tempo that I'm at. Yes, it was one time, but you said one in person, maybe once or twice. But oh my gosh, you make me want to come down to your level. And especially you make me see things. That's what I wanted to say. Just at one point on one of these episodes is that when you help me with constructive criticism, you literally separate me from the problem. Like you tell me what the issue is, but you don't make it seem like it's me. And I've, since the beginning, like I think I said something to you one time and you said, what did I do for you to say that to me? Or what did I do to deserve that? Because I said something just probably mean or something. And it made me think to myself, I had to think, what did he do to deserve me saying that? And then I was like, oh, okay, nothing. But in the past, it wouldn't be that. It'd be met with retaliation. I call you this and you call me that. And then we just keep going back and forth. But I had to stop and think, oh, okay. So like that's a lot of what you do for me. And not just you and I, but like for other things, you'll be like, well, think about it this way. Or did you stop and think or consider this? Or even sometimes you're like, just sit down and breathe. think about it. Or, you know, and lately I think you've been suggesting things like, do you want to go do yoga, or do you need to do this? Or, you know, when I'm like, oh, I'm just behind on work, I need to do this. You're like, you need to go to the living room. You want me to set up your thing? I can start a fire. Like, I couldn't say enough things about you. That's why we're going to have a mini series, and we're going to cut it off because I want to go home and take a nap because we don't have the kids. But if there's nothing you want to add, we could definitely pick it up next time. I'm grateful that we've been able to merge into now being business partners, co-workers, co-parents, lovers, you know, all those things. French fry consumers.
Connoisseur.
We are French fry and potato connoisseurs. I would agree. Us and our dog. We got to go get him too. All right. Is there anything you want to add, my love?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, well, yeah, that's that. And episode 8 will launch next month, and we will try to squeeze in one more mini episode this month. And maybe you guys can give us some suggestions for topics, because listen, we're together so much that I tell him that we're the same person, that we're twins, that we're look-alike, but he doesn't agree. But like, we can never run out of things to talk about. But when it comes to like talking about them, we're like, what do we be talking about? We don't know.
We literally start conversations, and then it leads. It's like a branching path. It starts down this way, and then it goes that way, 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 and then
It's 3 a.m.
Wait, what were we talking about? What was the main topic?
French fries. We ended up talking about zebras. So yeah, if you guys want to give us any suggestions or comments or whatever, maybe we can do a question and answer session. Maybe we can have other couples on here. I'm not sure. We are definitely not experts. All we know is that we don't stress each other the fuck out. And honestly, when it comes to being in a relationship, I think that's what it comes down to, is we do not make each other's lives harder. And so we at least know that we have this figured out. We don't know about y'all and what y'all got going on, but you know, makes sense. Mm-hmm. So we should have a handshake next time. We need to work on that, because I want to be like, it's the end of the Twilight Zone.
Game 7. Finals. But if you want a handshake, okay.
Well, I love you. I don't know how I end my episodes. Can you give me a kiss? I end it like that. I want to get some photos in one of these cameras, so you can come give me a kiss, and then we can stay in that camera when we cut. Which one? I'm going to say that one. I can give you a kiss. Okay, bye.